guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Slade and Pay Camille here, and in today's video we're going to be doing a Reddit cheating stories. So I hope you guys enjoy the little stories, and hopefully I'm still doing like daily videos. If y'all have not noticed, I'm supposed to be doing daily videos all month of June, and this is going to be like scheduled like at the end of June. I'm like kind of like pre-recording some things and put them in like in random spots to like fill me in so when I fall out. So hopefully we're still doing that and we're going strong, and if not, darn, I'm gonna try next time. I'm gonna do vlogmas and see how that goes. But yeah, so today we're gonna be doing Reddit stories, and this time they're cheating stories, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Okay, so I just got on Reddit. Ooh, okay. Ooh, this was 3 hours ago, y'all. This is fresh. Okay, let's see what this one is. Oh. Forget stories. I'm gonna do one story. Y'all, this one is so freaking long. You know how on the other ones they was like, oh, and it's long, and it wasn't long at all. It's like a paragraph. This is a book right here, and we're just gonna get into it. This probably just gonna be it for us for this one, because this is so long. It said, caught my fiance cheating. It ruined his life and those of his APs. Who says revenge doesn't pay? Question mark. She said, who? Oh, my bad. Who says revenge doesn't pay? Question mark. Okay. She said her man cheated and she got revenge, and revenge is sweet. Revenge is sweet, basically. So that's what she said. So I met my ex in 2012, right after he turned 20 and I just turned 30. I had only dated and been with women exclusively until I came out as bisexual at 28. Let's just say the year I was 29 was a busy year, making up for what I had missed out on. It was mostly casual hookups, yes, safe, and I did try dating 2 different guys for a few weeks, but it just never worked out or got serious. I kind of figured that I'd probably end up marrying a woman or not getting married at all, because I just didn't see myself catching romantic and sexual feelings for a guy. Then I met Ryan. From the first day, it was just like the only other time in my life I had fallen in love. Butterflies, constantly thinking about him, wanting to spend every moment with him. He fell for me hard too, and we became an item. Though he did not say while considering my bisexuality a turn on, my bad y'all, because he had things for straight guys. It also gave him pause because of my desire for the opposite sex and his concern that would lead me astray. I thought about it and understand that it was a legitimate worry, but assured him that I couldn't even think about anyone else because I was really into him. Note, I knew he was the one by the end of the first month and I was in love, but I wasn't going to say these things too soon and risk of scaring him off. I'm signing off to a great start. On our first date, he admitted to me that he was legally blind due to a genetic disorder and that it was progressive, and eventually he would only have a sliver of his peripheral vision. He immediately said that he understood that if I didn't want to see him again, because no other guy would have wanted to date him and be his driver all of the time. I grew up with a brother in a wheelchair who never learned to walk or talk due to his misdiagnosis meningitis at 6 months years old in the 70s. I told him that and said that my brother had a severe disability, so in my perspective, his blindness had no effect in my feelings, and that always being a driver was a small sacrifice just to be with him. In the next 3 years were bliss. We brought out the best in each other. My family was surprised but very supportive when I came out, adored Ryan, and treated him like family, and said that I acted happier since we've been together. When I met him, we was working part-time in retail and had done very poorly in high school because he lost a lot of his confidence as his vision deteriorated. I told him that one thing I did insist on was that he do something with his life because he had too much to offer and I would help. He said that he'll want to be a teacher, but I didn't think someone with limited vision could teach. Nonsense. So I put him through community college for 2 years. Then 2.5 years of local university, and finally 1 year teaching certification program as required by California. I drove countless miles and paid thousands in public transportation costs for him never blinking an eye or complaining. We've been together for 7.5 years and were engaged to be married in October by the time he was in his last semester of teaching certification which involved him student teaching at his former high school with his favorite teacher from his days in school. Then the pandemic hit and schools closed. Fortunately, he had enough hours in his classroom that will still qualify him to be certified after the governor issued a waiver via executive order. On the third day of the stay-at-home order in March, my life crumbled when I innocently found out he cheated on me with his ex, all because he handed his phone to me to show me something on Instagram. I accidentally fact on the back arrow when he gave it to me, take me back to a list of all his messages. I looked back and recognized the name of his ex as the second message, dated a week ago. I clicked on it and my heart sank. Directions to my house, pictures, dirty talk, and reassured him not to worry about me because he had my location on Find My Friends, just in case I came home from work. I immediately started screaming, demanding to know everything. He admitted to having his ex over twice for sex, and that they didn't use protection. Finally, he admitted to sleeping with a supposedly straight guy he and many of his cousins went to school with, who I told Ryan I really didn't like him or want them talking because I didn't trust him. Since they were never close friends, I didn't like this. I think she may think. Since they were close friends, I didn't feel this was a big sacrifice or that I was being too controlling. And I assumed he knew why, and all the cousins felt that way, but didn't bother repeating it. The reason was, after high school at age 20, this guy was convicted of sexual assault and penetration with a foreign object against a 16-year-old girl, and had gone to jail and required to register as a sex offender for life. Apparently, my ex was the only person in his graduating class that hadn't heard this news. All of this happened in my home while I was working. We spent the whole weekend crying, with me asking over and over why, and him repeating crying and saying that he just didn't know and that he felt terrible. Monday comes around and anger started being as common as sadness, and I made a comment that I was going to pull all the phone's records back the 3 years that AT&T kept them for a fee. Only when he heard that did he admit to one more guy, some random name Frankie off the gay hookup app Grindr, who was the first guy he cheated with and continued to casually hook up with for nearly 2 years, with the last time being in February, the month before. He told me how I started. Get this, it was the day after his graduation with his BA, and in May 2018, and he was drunk from celebrating and wanted to have sex. I had been celebrating with him, and I said I was too drunk to perform, and said I'll make it up the next day, then passed out asleep on the couch. Apparently, he was angry horny because he downloaded Grindr. Chatted with this Frankie fella and arranged to have sex in the car in a church parking lot across the street from our condo, which happens to be across the street from a school. This fact is important later. All while I was asleep on the couch. All the times they hooked up after that was again in my condo while I was working or visiting a friend for the night up the coast. He used to love going, but started saying he couldn't occasionally because of homework and studying. I absolutely lost it, told him to get in the car, and I drove him to his family house so he could tell them what he did so they understood why he was moving back into their house. While he was in the house, I was in the driveway on the phone with AT&T, ordering the 3 years worth of details, texts, and call logs, then made an appointment to be screened for STIs. I also changed his number he had for years, but I took it over and added it to my plan 2-3 before because his parents were tired of paying it. Then suspended his service, deleted his social media, and changed all his passwords so only I could have access to his iCloud. I also called the bank and issued a stop payment on his final tuition check that I had sent to the certification program the week before and hadn't hit the bank yet. Before deleting his social media, except Facebook, I took screenshots of the entire Instagram conversation with his ex and mailed the conversation to his fiance, who deserved to know so she could see a doctor too. His family was very religious and had kicked him out in high school for 3 years when he tried to admit he was bi, and only took him back in when he took it back. Needless to say, she ended it. He got kicked out, one down. He came back out to the car and we went home. I took his house key and told him to say goodbye to our 3 pets and get packing. say goodbye to the pets. You're leaving. You're out of here. The entire time he packed, I studied those phone records to find out dates, times, and if there was anyone else he was leaving out. He answered every question I asked, and it was then that I discovered that the sex offender and he only had oral in my house, and that the actual sex was in a parking lot he screwed Frankie got in a school parking lot. It was a church parking lot. I forgot. No, it was across the street from the school. It was in a church parking lot across the street from the school. The sex offender was by a school. The wheels started turning, and the next day I went over there and sure enough spotted a camera. I spoke to a secretary at the church and informed them about a registered sex offender having sex in their lot, and that not only was it a violation of his parole for indecent exposure, but that he was not allowed to be that close to his school, and I provided the date. I was in luck. They had a digital 2-year loop system that started deleting day by day after it had been retained for 2 years, plus 1 day. It was April 2020, and he cheated with Frankie in May 2018, and a sex offender was in April 2019. I told them I was filing a police report and that the probation would require a copy of it eventually. They said they would save the file and allow me a thumb drive of both days to submit with my police report. Within a month, the sex offender was locked up again. 2 down. Dang, she knocking them off. She getting these dudes caught. Okay. I also filed a police report against the Frankie guy. The police said it was a relatively minor infraction, but since it was across from the school playground and skate park, they will follow up, but there will be no jail time. I searched the heck out of Frankie and called him to confront him. He was smug and admitted to knowing about me the whole time. What he didn't know is that I had found out he had a job that required a security clearance, and he had several judgments against him, and collection agencies have been looking for him. I didn't know why they couldn't find him and just garnish his wages, but it ended up he was Hispanic, and he had 2 last names and was a junior. Plus he frequently by his middle name Francisco, Frankie for short. So he got lost in a paperwork confusion. I sent the letter to the collection agencies providing his employer and current location and contact info, and sent a copy of the police report about misdemeanor incident, exposure for what he pleaded guilty, and it was a fine with community service, not considered a sex crime. His wages did get garnished, but only for 2 paychecks because the misdemeanor was enough for him to lose his security clearance and get fired. 3 down. Then I contacted Ryan's family on his mom's side, pretending to be him from his Facebook account, making sure they knew he had y'all. I don't think I knew this. I don't think she said this. Let me start over. Then I contacted Ryan's family on his mother's side, pretending to be him from his Facebook account, making sure they knew he had sex with his cousin. It spread through the family like wildfire, and soon his cousin was contacting me because he couldn't get a hold of Ryan to ask why he would expose that they did that. I just laughed and said, you shouldn't screw your cousins, especially when they're engaged, and that he had messed around in my house, so now it was my turn for payback. 4 down.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
I am blown. She's knocking him off. One by one. She's getting them one by one. Lastly, I had already stopped payment, but since he was so close to finishing, I was sure his family would bail him out and pay the university. Like I said, indecent exposure is usually a slap on the wrist type misdemeanor. However, I remember some of the paperwork he signed to be a mandated reporter, that you could lose teaching certification for a document acts of moral turpitude. I sent a copy of both police reports from the parking lot with still shots from the security footage clearly showing Ryan's face to the school district he'd been student teaching, and a copy to the Commission on Teacher Credentials. Fifth and final day. Admittedly, I did all of this out of anger, but he shattered my sense of self-worth and made me incredibly bitter and untrustingly after years of being generous and supporting him. Everywhere I looked in town, I thought of Ryan and the cheating. I felt a terrible energy in my condo, knowing it all happened there. I stayed 9 months and watched all 5 of their lives self-destruct. I then sold my condo, making a nice profit, and relocated to the PNW to start over. Anyone knows what is the PNW? She never really said where she's from, so I really can't even figure it out. I don't know. One thing that is sad is that I found out just recently that his ex, whose fiance broke up with him, ended up committing suicide several months after I moved. Dang. That took a turn. It is too bad that his family was so close-minded to turn on their own son. But in the end, it's not my fault that he cheated on his fiancée by coming into my house at my fiancé's invitation to cheat. She said, "I do not feel bad. You did that to yourself." Woo! TLDR. What is that? It's like a PS, like PS, maybe a little update. I emotionally and financially supported my ex through college and his teaching credential program for over 7 years, only to discover he cheated on me with 4 different guys. One of them the day after he graduated, and then occasionally for nearly 2 years in my home while I was at work. I took my revenge. My ex lost his career before it even started in our relationship. One AP, okay, AP means affair partner, okay. One affair partner lost his job and had bill collectors after him. Another lost his fiancée and was kicked out. A third was humiliated when his entire family found out that he did his cousin. And the fourth was put in jail for violating probation. Lesson: don't cheat and deceive. Y'all, this was a movie. This is giving Tyler Perry Agrimony. I think that's what it's called, Agrimony. When Taraji had supported her husband all those years throughout school. She was working 2 jobs to support him because he was building this battery. And then he goes and he did homegirl wrong. He had messed up some money. He was supposed to do something. She had hooked him up with her sisters with their family business so that he can make some money, bring some money in, and he screwed them over, so they lost money, and she just decided she was filing for a divorce. Oh, and he also didn't sell his battery for $800,000 because I think he had mortgaged the house or something. It was her mom's house. I forgot. I think he mortgaged the house or something like that. Something. So the house that her mom left for her is going to be taken because of him. But at the end of that movie, y'all, she got revenge. This is kind of similar to that, except the guy in Acrimony, well, I was going to say he didn't cheat. He cheated once when they were younger. This is giving that, but in real life, and I feel bad. I feel really bad for her because she was with this man for 7 years, and she was in love. She gave her heart to him. He was going blind. She stayed. She helped him through school. She said, "You being blind will not stop you from being great. You will achieve something. You will be successful. I'm here for you. Through thick and thin, I'm here. I'm here." She was standing beside her man. That was her man. And all he did was cheat. He didn't realize what he had. At the same time, I'm thinking they both had an orientation. I can't even really blame it on that though, because before she dated him, she was strictly dating women. She didn't even think she would be with a man. But he was, I forgot if he just gay or was he bi? But it seemed like he was dating like a lot of men, or maybe just men, before he met her. So I can't even be like, well, he was dating men, so he's gonna always date me. You should have known that. No, because she never cheated on him, because she was actually in love. I'm just blown. If he didn't want to date a woman, he should never been with a woman. It seemed like he was really just benefiting off what she could do for him. You know what I'm saying? And that really does mess with a person. You can't mess with a person's heart like that. And that's exactly what he was doing, just playing with her heart, just playing the fiddle. What just say you can't have your cake and eat it too? Well, he got the cake, the pie, the cookies, the donut. Shoot, he had it all. Oh, yeah, he had it all. But she got her revenge. Okay, when I say she got revenge. That girl was not playing. Do not mess with her. She is her. Do not mess with her. I am blown that he cheated on her so many times with these 4 people. Well, one was occasional. Well, only one was occasional. And he is nasty. Why the cousin? I was blown about the cousin, y'all. I was really shocked about the cousin. I can't even trust your family. And she's so smart. Oh man, she said, I deleted all social media and kept Facebook. And she used that for evil, and I loved it. She used Facebook for evil. Exposed them. Yes. I would expose them too, because that's just nasty. And then, how he not know that dude was a sex offender? Dude, everybody know but you? Disgusting. That is nasty. Ew. I'm happy he went back to jail. I don't like sex offenders. I feel bad for the one that was out to his family and they ended up committing suicide. I hate that for him, honestly, because he couldn't come to terms with who he really was. I guess, you know, his family didn't like who he really was either, so he was like, I gotta go. I hate that for him. I wish he could live in his truth. I feel bad. That's the only part I feel bad about. Everything else, power to you, girl. Power to you. But I feel bad about that suicide part. I mean, dang it. I feel bad about that S word. I forgot we probably can't even say that word on YouTube, but yeah. But yeah, I told y'all that was a long one. Homegirl is not playing with us either. Whew. So anyway, y'all, thank you for watching. That was the Reddit Tune Stories, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Oh, and don't forget to like, comment, and share the video, guys. Thank you. And see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Body love and the vibe. You can't fuck up the mood. You can't fuck up the mood. Yeah. Think I all-star players. How the fuck we gon' lose? How the fuck we gon' lose? Yeah. I got 5 bitches to choose. Fuck them all in a row. Fuck them all.